So here's the $50 million question. I don't know if it's actually that much, but the question, do you have the capacity and have you given yourself permission to just be happy? If you don't know me, I'm Dr. Alex Swenson Ridley. I'm speaker, author, podcast host, and mentor to women struggling with what I call selfless syndrome. And this was something that came up on a call with a client just earlier today, and I decided we needed to talk about it. We were talking, and she has come such a long way from when we first started working together. And she kind of looked at me and was like, it was almost like she was nervous to say, like, I'm really okay. And it was like, hold the phone. I'm happy. Like, what is this? And so many of us, I think, struggle with there's a couple things that go into this. It's like we struggle with giving ourselves permission to just be happy, to actually be okay. It's like we always need something that we're working on or the next thing. And she shared this in the context of, in terms of her career, like this is the first time in probably a decade that she doesn't have a 5-year plan. And I'm not saying anything against 5-year plans or that you shouldn't have a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan, or having a direction that you're heading in your life is great. But so many of us miss out on the journey along the way, either because we're so wrapped up in all of our stuff and the things that we think we need to do and blah, 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 that we aren't really present. And so we're always trying to fix something in the past, or we're constantly focused on the future. And so we're not just living. And, she's in this place where she's just like enjoying life and living. And when we started working together, she was burnt out. She was dealing with a lot of anxiety. Her particular job has her she was like responsible for working with the governor's office directly to implement healthcare policy and practices during COVID. So high stress, constant emergency, all that stuff. And she's came out of that and just, didn't recognize herself, didn't know who she was. The things she used to do to help her reset and feel good weren't actually rejuvenating her anymore. And her hormones were all over the place. And this is all stuff that I work with women on, but it's also all connected, right? It's not just like, oh, if I go fix this hormone thing, then everything's going to be good. There's a lot of nuances and pieces, and there's the emotional side of healing as well as the physical side of healing. And so these are all the things that I help women navigate. And one day we get to this place where it's like, holy crap, I'm happy. What just happened? Like, this is amazing. And the work doesn't stop there either, right? There's always something new to explore, and not like we always have to be pushing ourselves. This is also a type A thing. It's like, we achieve something and we're just like, what's next? I've been guilty of this for years in my whole life. And in doing that, we miss out again on that present moment and on being able to just say, I have capacity and I'm happy, and that's okay. And I can keep doing this and continue to dream. And maybe in the dreaming, it's no longer about like some hard and fast trying to achieve XYZ, being driven from a more negative place. I also dealt with this a lot in my first business. The drive was to escape some part of my reality, right? But when we are creating those dreams and really just getting clear on like, what do we actually want? And being okay being there, it's a completely different experience. So with that, like if you're watching this and you are a woman entrepreneur or executive, in a leadership role in the world, I still consider a lot of stay-at-home moms that way too. But if you're in that place and you can't look at your life and say like, I'm happy, I have the, capacity, meaning like the strength, the body to support me and my dreams and my goals, you don't necessarily know what those look like, or like you just like know something needs to change. You're not, even if you've been working on your health for a long time or your career, or you've had an amazing life and experience, you're just not necessarily where you want to be. Like something is missing. Then I want to invite you to join me to just come into a conversation around this on Sunday. I host once a month on the second Sunday of the month. So that's coming up from when this is going live. It's on February 12th. If you're watching this later, there will be another one in March and in April and in May. But I host just a small, intimate gathering that I facilitate. There's nothing for sale. I'm not here to pitch you anything. I actually don't teach you anything. We just come in and have conversation. And I do this for a couple of reasons. One, I find so many of us as busy, driven women, we're missing connection and like time to talk and just process. And so I, created the space to be able to do that as number one. And two, like we need these spaces that are safe to just show up and really be raw and real in ourselves, because a lot of us don't actually have access to that in our lives. And so the whole idea around this is I facilitate a discussion. It's small group. You don't just show up and listen, like you will participate. I encourage everybody to bring their favorite fuzzy blanket and favorite cup of tea or coffee, whatever kind of warm beverage drinker you are, and just come hang out and have a conversation with me and start to get clear on what's actually going to help you move the needle towards having that kind of just joy and excitement in life that so many of us are missing these days, right? And so together I will, we meet for about an hour. I'll help you craft a plan. Again, nothing is for sale. So just help you get clear and get next steps or get input. And, the biggest thing is to not feel like you're all alone, because so way too many women that I've worked with and talked to, we try to go at all this on our own. And many of us are in roles where we're, working in male dominated places, or like me, I live in a house full of boys, which is why I work with women. I joke because I've got, between my husband and my stepsons and my son, there's 5 of them plus a male dog. So we need that kind of support. So I invite you to join me. It's at 11 a.m. Pacific time, I believe. I might be wrong on that. Follow the link. The link is in the description here. It's on Calendly. Join me. It's free. There's like nothing, scary to go into it. And we're just going to show up and we're going to have a chat and help you start to get clear on what you need to do to find what my client found, which is that place of being like, holy crap, I'm happy. And not needing to say, now what, right? Like just being able to actually enjoy life and have the time and the space for that. And a lot of what I do is, help guide an internal journey and level of healing that we all need to go through in order to truly get to that point and to have a transformation in our bodies and within ourselves that allow us to do that and to live there and to be there. So hopefully all this makes sense. I hope to see you there if you are a woman who fits into that category and relate to any part of this conversation. And with that, happy weekend, and we will see you next time.